The KC Show is based in facts and opinions that doesn't necessarily reflect the views sponsors, hosts, or guests of the KC Show. Any allegations are based in real time and are allegations until proven.
Judge Smith walking up to the podium there where they are going to give a briefing here, an update. Looks like they are still getting settled as we take this live look from yet another camera out there. Let's pop up the audio and listen in.
Chris Hosey, Director of the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, and we wanted to come back this afternoon and present you with a little more of a timeline of the events that have taken place here today and what we know up to this point with the investigation. At approximately 10:20 a.m. this morning, the Bexar County Sheriff's Office received alerts about reports of an active shooter and radio traffic from school resource officers concerning the same concern, or having the same concern. Within minutes, law enforcement was on scene, as well as 2 school resource officers assigned here to the school who immediately encountered the subject within just minutes of this report going out. Once they encountered the subject immediately surrendered to these officers and he was taken into custody. Additionally, what I want you to know as of now, there are 4 individuals who are deceased from this incident, 9 that have been taken to local hospitals with various injuries. Of those that are deceased, 2 are students and 2 are teachers here at the school. The priority right now for us.
All right, good afternoon, guys. What's going on? I just seen that video. Wanted to share it with y'all. I don't know how many people I'm sure everybody's knowing about it. It's been on Facebook all day, but they finally released, a little bit of information about who the shooter was. I think he was 14. They haven't said what his motive necessarily was, but regardless, that's just awful. I hate it for the families. It's man, you just don't understand what goes through kids' minds to make them want to do these things. And but regardless, in my opinion, we have clear bag policies in every event dealing with education except for school itself. So, I think at this point, that seems like the logical step to me, is to start enforcing a clear bag policy. That should have been done a long time ago. Kids ain't gonna like it, but at least they'll get to come home and complain about it, right? So that was just a little something. I may play a little bit more here in just a few minutes. I'm not, coincidences happen, don't get me wrong. And I'm not saying these two are interlinked with each other, but today on Megyn Kelly, let me pull this up real quick. Today on Megyn Kelly, there was a video that she did now announcing the trans shooter who was in Nashville. It just so happened that his manifesto come out today. And I'm, you know, you like I say again, you're kind of, that's just unreal coincidence, because that shooting happened, what, 2023? That was last year, I believe. Could be the year before. It's been so long. But let me just play a second of this real quick, see what y'all think.
They say that they legally obtained the journal from a source in June, and that it was written by the shooter between January and March of 2023, when the shooter conducted the violence. It was recovered from the shooter's vehicle by officers with the Metro Nashville Police. And we believe, of course, that the reason they weren't disclosing this manifesto for all this time is that they didn't want to make it look like somebody who had said that they were a trans person was mentally unstable and had any motivation that would reflect poorly on the trans community. You're not going to see headlines about trans shooters like you had about the Tucker Carlson alleged link to the manifesto, which was a disgusting smear and lie. Disgusting smear and lie. Tucker's been on.
So that, you know, again, I may come back to that in just a few, but, you know, again, today of all days for that to come out, it's just a little suspicious. Again, not saying that they're linked in any way, shape, or form, but it's crazy. But hopefully, you know, I know there was more that was wounded. Hopefully they'll be all right. You know, hopefully there won't be no more deaths out of this. I know they said that 2 of them were teachers, 2 of them were students who died. So that's just awful. But, you know, prayers go out to them, community. But I do think it's time that if we've got to have clear bags, like I say, in every event, you know, because honestly, you look at school shootings, you know, they're 9 times out of 10 a kid. It's rare that it's an adult coming into the school. So, you know, maybe it's time to implement that. But moving on from that, you know, last week we were talking about the amphitheater. I was really hoping that Joe would take an opportunity to reach out and talk with us. I have not heard from him. I'm sure he's got more than enough means to get in touch with me. Haven't heard from him. I'm going to give him a little bit more time. Maybe he'll take that opportunity. But one of the biggest things that I was talking about with that amphitheater, you know, on the news, he claims that this is the best thing that he knows right now for Union County, and I'm paraphrasing, of what can bring people in to live here. And that's his words, not mine. And honest thing I would like from him, he don't have to come. You know, you've got my Facebook here. My email's also on there. Send me the data that can back this up. Ain't that what you do when you go to a council meeting or something like that? When you're proposing something, you got to have a business plan or some sort of data to back up. You know, like when they was going to lower the airplane tax. You know, they had all this data, and that's what you do. You bring data to the table to explain why you're doing what you're doing with taxpayer money. That's your job, and hopefully that will hopefully that'll come about, but we'll see. There was a big week, kickoff to college football. You know, a lot of good times, a lot of bad times. You know, we're going to start out real quick, just if we can, right here with South Carolina.
2 wide receivers over to the right side, make that 3. Wilson's going to run out of there. The Gamecocks will have
this was the play of the game,
fumble.
in my opinion.
And this time, the guys in the Garnet and Black have got it. What a stick on Wilson. And the call is Carolina takes the football, the 3rd turnover on the afternoon, and this gives us life with 6:48.
That was the play of the game, in my opinion. You know, South Carolina went on to beat Old Dominion. And that was the play that really changed it. You know, South Carolina's got a game coming up Saturday at 3:30. They're playing Kentucky. That is going to be a good game. I'm looking forward to that. A tough win for South Carolina. You know, not looking sharp. There's not many teams who did, other than one that unfortunately had to play Clemson the first game of the season, and we got a highlight on that as well. Let's take a look at that. Let's pull that up here. There we go.
After the 13-yard gain, Frazier into the end zone.
I picked that moment there because I thought that was the moment where I think Clemson just realized at this point that it was over. Especially their defense, who was pushing, man, they were playing tough. But when they went up by 3 scores, you can tell Clemson's defense just said, okay, we're gonna pull back on the chains a little bit. There ain't no need in killing ourselves for the simple fact of, we're probably going to lose this game, which is not a bad thing. Sometimes when you're beat, it's best to be beat. Don't get yourself hurt. They play Saturday night, which I believe will actually be a good game, with Appalachian State at 8 o'clock. So I'm looking forward to that one too. But the game of the week is, of course, this right here.
Love burst over the middle. Love to the end zone, and the Irish take the lead.
A ton of room here.
Of course,
good
right
block
there,
by
that
Pendleton
was,
on the inside to kind of get the.
Jeremiah Love taking the touchdown to put Notre Dame up against Texas A&M, where everybody was picking against them. Even I myself had doubts because it had been 20 years since Notre Dame has went into an SEC house and won, and that was back in 2004 against Tennessee. So that was an impressive win from Notre Dame, and I hope, Lord have mercy, I hope they're back. That's going to be wonderful if they are. Now, a lot of things that have been going on. I decided the other night to make a video about Susan Smith. I was going to play it tonight, but the only reason I'm not is because I want as many people to get the chance to watch it. And I just put it on there last night, so I don't want to play it too soon. Not enough people, and it gets lost in the weeds, because I think it turned out pretty good. So basically, I don't know if anybody's ever. Well, I'm sure a lot of people have. It's very popular. There is a ESPN documentary, 30 for 30. One of my favorite documentaries was about in July, when there was so many things going on. They didn't have no interviews. They didn't do nothing. They just played live video of O.J. Simpson when he was being chased. They had the championship basketball game. They had the Olympics that were just starting, and they were just playing all of this that was going on in that one day. And I was like, we could go out here and try to interview, which we actually did reach out to try to see if we could do an interview with Susan Smith. Unfortunately, the prison doesn't allow interviews for whatever reason. So I went another route, and I decided to make a video of kind of reliving that back then, because even me myself, I was in the 4th grade. I remember when this happened, when they thought they had found the guy. I'll never forget it. They took all the classes at Monarch Elementary, and we got brought into a teacher's room where she was listening to it on this radio. It's about this big, about that tall, and we were all just sitting there listening to it, and they were reporting that, they think they have a person in custody, and they think they might have found the kids. And I remember all of us were just sitting there cheering to where we couldn't even hear the radio. I was getting, because even at that age, I was intrigued. I wanted to know what was going on. And, come to find out all that was obviously a ruse. So she's coming up for parole in November. And instead of necessarily having an opinion on whether or not she should be paroled, a lot of people have opinions on whether she has paid back her, to society. You take 2 lives, you take 1 life. I think yours should be taken in response, but that's just me. But when it comes to being 2 kids who are your blood, and man, one of them was 14 months. That kind of coldness don't go away. In my opinion, that just does not, you may regret it, and that absolutely may be true. You may absolutely regret what you've done, because as you get older, you get wiser. And, her reasoning behind what she did was for a man who didn't want a family, money. He had money. And, so all of those were compounded reasons on what was going on in her mind. And, now I can't say at that moment in time, adoption and stuff like that isn't as widely talked about and made a movement of acceptance as it is today. A lot of people they were taking their babies. I mean, like, there was one lady who threw her baby in a dumpster. I think people were leaving, just leaving babies everywhere. So that's when, they started allowing, parents to drop their babies off at secure locations, fire departments, police departments, stuff like that. Well, obviously back then that wasn't something that was going on. And maybe if it was, maybe those kids would still be alive, because maybe that would have been an option she'd have took. But, there's no excuse for what she did at all. Michelle said, I remember all that with Susan. I lived in Greenville at the time. As soon as I heard it, I knew those kids were in the lake. She should have gotten 2 life sentences, not 1. Agree. 2 life sentences, 1 per child. And really, if you want to add the husband in there, that's 3, because he was devastated. Obviously, I mean, I cannot imagine. Can't imagine how he was able to really deal with all that, because your kids are missing. You think this man out here has got your children. You're sitting there wondering about that. How can you find them? You're trying to do everything you can. And then all of a sudden, you get hit, you get rocked and know that your kids are dead. But then you take another punch and find out that the woman that you've been sitting there standing beside, listening to her cry and lie and do all that, she was the one that did it. How he got through all that is amazing. I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine going through something like that. And I know he moved on. He always just was very much ready to move on with his life. He was tired, and I get that. You live and you move on. And I think he's got 2 kids. I'm sure he's doing better, but I mean, you never can recover from something like that. We have here, I'm going to play it. Hopefully it plays good. My sound was giving me a little issue right before I started, but I'm going to play this, and I hope that it'll play. This is a little sneak peek of what's to come. Here you go.
No, in fact, when he made me get out of the car, I tried to get my children. I just begged him, please let me take them. And he said no, he didn't have time because they were in car seats and it was going to take time for me to get them out of the car seat. And he just told me, he said, but I won't hurt them. And he just took off. But he had a gun, and my big thing is they were screaming, hollering, crying. And I'm just scared that he just lost his patience or something,
So there you go. I mean, I picked that clip. I had about 5, and I'll be loading some on our TikTok, which we have TikTok. If you have it, check it out. We're going to be probably uploading more to TikTok and YouTube than probably a little bit more than we do Facebook, just for the simple fact that it's more easy to access videos there. So there may be a good chance that there could be some videos on TikTok or YouTube that you won't see on Facebook, so definitely check that out. But that one there, the reason I picked that one was because just how she lies with ease. That was the part that always got me. She lied. I mean, and she's putting this story together. You can see the wheels turning. You can see her kind of putting this story together as she's talking. And that to me is just, man, you're a good storyteller. You can put on a good front, and that could be something that the parole board's obviously going to look at. you know, they're gonna look at that. Her chances of being paroled are probably very slim to none. But you know, crazier things have happened, and I tell you this: at the end of the video, it shows what her plans are when she gets out, and what her plans have been since she's been in jail. And you're going to be shocked by that. I was. Patty was. She got to watch it because I wanted to get her feedback on it. It's crazy. It is so crazy what she's been going through. Let's see here. Let's see. Michelle said there are several books on why it happened. 9 Days in Union is eye-opening. I need to. And Jerry said no tears, and that's exactly right. Never. I mean, the only time you think she kind of did her little fake crying. The only time that she really truly cried in front of a camera is when she got denied her second trial, when she was charged. You know, when it became about her. That's when you seen tears. Yeah, there's a lot of people that's telling her that she'll be a great mom. You know, we always talk about men who are pedophiles and stuff like that, you know, that they should be unable to have kids anymore. I was trying to PG that, but you know, that should be the same with women. Like the lady in Texas, she had 5 kids and she killed them all. Woman's clearly not saying that. And she I don't think she was ever found necessarily guilty of the murder. She had to go into a mental facility. That means that there could be light at the end of the tunnel. She could get out, but at the same time, that woman should never be able to have children again. Like there was a lady who put her child in an oven. You know, all these things kind of happened. Susan Smith kind of started something. Now, you know, you've got Jones with the whole massacre, and you know, that happened before Susan Smith, and you got David out there in Texas who, you know, allowed his kids to burn up in a fire with him in the name of Christ because he was the second coming. You've got people like that, you know, with these mass suicides, and you know, clearly they're unstable. They don't have everything clicking. But you know, one lady with the Jim Jones situation, she was not there when they were poisoning everybody. And what she did, she took a knife and killed her kids. And I think she drowned another, maybe 2. She used a knife to either threaten them or use it against them. I can't remember. I know a knife was involved, but I do know she also drowned some children. And, you know, so mental illness is a real thing. And it's been around for a long time. You know how Megyn Kelly was just talking about here a second ago, was talking about how mental illness with the trans shooter. Let me tell you something. I don't care what they are. You go and shoot up a school, you have mental issues. I don't care if you're mad because your best friend got shot by another person at this place, that place. You got in a fight and you lost, and when you have no problem in your mind taking a life and possibly taking innocent lives that have absolutely nothing to do with what happened to tick you off from the start, when you have no conscience to stop you from making that choice, there is something wrong with you. Something wrong with you mentally. And honestly, you know, it's a sign of the times. You know, people don't fight no more. They just shoot. They don't fight. People don't know how to take being wrong. People don't know how to take, you know, be careful how I word this. Going through a situation right now where somebody cannot have the ability to say, I was wrong. And if that person would take that opportunity to do it, save her a lot of heartache, a lot of money, a lot of other things. But I'll leave that there. We all want to blame somebody for something of your shortcomings in life, especially when you're, you know, if it's in sort of public. But you know, with kids, that's even worse. You're around your friends, you're embarrassed. You don't know how to deal with those emotions yet because you're still growing. the brain doesn't fully develop until 25. Let's see what David Koresh. Yep, Koresh. Is it freezing? Yeah, I'm getting that notice here too. And it keeps saying that it's the YouTube that's freezing up. I'm not sure why, Jerry, but I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm actually getting a notice on that. My router, there's something going on with my router. I'm going to fix that this weekend. But Patty, I know she's on, as she was talking, I wish I'd have paired my phone and brought her on here, talking about there's going to be some events that's coming up. I know they are talking big and a lot, like they always do, about the Uniquely Union. I know a lot of people looking forward to that. Hope it's a big success. I know they work hard at that. Tubo, Jamie, all of them. I know they do a lot of hard work, and to do any kind of event, I don't care who you are, to do any kind of event in Union County is tough. It's tough. And Patty and them, they did an event that was in Spartanburg, and it was tough. So putting on events, period, is really tough. But when you do it in a small town like Union, it is extremely tough. I have one other thing I wanted to show y'all. Yeah, here we go. Let's bring this up real quick, and maybe I'll give Patty a second to get me that information. This right here, Harris is once again moonwalking. She's doing a lot of that. Made Michael Jackson definitely jealous, but Harris is now bucking the Biden capital gains tax. And a lot of people who don't know what this capital gain tax is, you really need to go look at it. Capital gain tax is it's dangerous. It can close businesses down, even though in this post, to be fair, that, we're not always trying to slam her, even though she gives a tremendous amount of reason to do so. But let's see, I'm working on another monitor here. It says right here that Wednesday afternoon for a campaign event where she went and made the announcement and also unveil a $50,000 tax deduction for new small business owners. Now, let me tell you something. I own the business for a decade plus. $50,000 in deduction. You know what she's always talking about with Trump? That he's always doing tax cuts for the rich. Let me tell you something. $50,000 in tax deduction. Do you know how much you've got to show on the front end to have that deducted? That's a percentage rate. It ain't like if you go start a lemonade stand for $2,000. Come on. Well, I don't guess this is what she's going to do. My God, if she does, we're going to be broke. Because let's not forget how many people took advantage of the PPP. You remember when that happened 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when that happened? People were starting businesses on Friday, and by Monday, they were getting approved for $20,000 loans. And remember, they were going to come after those people, arrest them and all that. And then all of a sudden, they just said, you know what? Y'all can keep it. And whose administration that happened under? But $50,000 in deductions for new small businesses, meaning that you can't go and start a business for $5,000 and get $50,000 deducted. It's all based on a percentage of what you earn, what you show, and they will deduct, and it'll probably go up to $50,000, which means that if you got a big business, that's probably $500,000 business plus more, meaning that you've got some solid money on your back, meaning you're not struggling paycheck to paycheck like most of us are. You're going to get the biggest bump. And they word these things like this to make it look like she's doing it for the poor. She's not. She's got, do y'all see how much money she raises? Those are coming from big business donors. You think she's going to go against them? I promise you. Patty will have to, oh Lord. Oh, and this right here, guys, y'all can see it right here on my screen. I hope you can. Right here on my screen, I asked Patty to send me that information. Y'all see that detailed reporting that I get. Farm show. That's it. I mean, is it actually on a farm? Is it in Spartanburg? Is it in Greenville, Jonesville, Whitmire, Columbia? I get no information other than Farm Show. So, there we go. Farm. So Jerry said that Patty will have a soup stand, guys. If you ever need to flush out, you're getting ready to possibly go have a colonoscopy or something, let Patty cook you some soup. She'll get you taken care of. It tastes better than the stuff they send you home with. Guarantee it. And I promise you, it cleans you out twice as good. So it's Union. Great. Again, great detail. I'm sure that y'all will be able to find this farm show somewhere in Union County. Good luck to you. So we were going to do tonight I'm going to call it the tee-off. Sorry, I thought she said something else. A tee-off. So next Wednesday, unless we do the Susan Smith thing, I want to make sure that it's good for y'all. And I won't, oh, here she goes. So let me answer her real quick and we'll go back to that. Yes, ma'am. Okay. I'm going to put you on speakerphone so people can hear you. All right, go ahead. Okay.
Okay, so the farm show, I'm pulling it up now. Sorry. And it's not working.
Okay.
Oh, there it is. I got it. Sorry.
I'll butt though.
Well, I am trying to drive. Probably shouldn't say that, but.
Well, I'll give you a second. I'll give you a second while I finish saying what I was about to say, but made me forget a little bit too. So while she's looking that up, I'm going to do a tee-off. So that's how we're going to start this little food thing that I'm going to go to. I'm going to get a tea from Banner Shelf, Dario, Midway. I'm not going to do McDonald's. I'm not going to do big businesses. I'm not going to do that, which is not a bump for them. The only corporational restaurants like that's got good tea, in my opinion, is McDonald's. Burger King, man, not good. I've had Hardee's, not good. Arby's was all right. And Wendy's is okay. You got to catch them on the right day. Subway's is okay. And Bojangles is, man, it's rough. So, these corporations, they don't have somebody who knows how to make tea like us good old Southerners. So it's going to be small businesses we're going to do, and Pizza Hut's got good tea. No, I can't say they got good tea. Banner Chef, Dario, Midway, we're going to La Fagata. I'm just trying to think of all the restaurants in town. We're going to try and go and get a tea from each one of them. And we're going to have them here. We're going to taste them. We're going to see which one's the best. And we're going to move on from food from that too. So real quick, let me see what, Patty, did you get something?
Yes. So farm show is at the Union County Fairgrounds. It's going to be September 21st from 9 to 3. And it's showing on their page that they're going to have a pie eating contest as well there.
Oh.
But they're going to have different stuff.
Wait a minute. Who's running this?
I'm not sure who's over it.
We need to find out immediately. Because the fact that they didn't invite me to be a judge in a pie eating contest, yeah, we got a problem. That's not good. But okay. Is there anything else?
The Uniquely Union is actually a 2-day event. It's September the 21st and 22nd. So that Saturday, you will also have Uniquely Union on Main Street, and you'll have the farm show at Fairgrounds.
Okay, so Uniquely Union is not going to be at the fairgrounds.
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, bye. And, Jerry, we put it on our page as well. The fair released their dates from when they're coming down this year. So a lot of good going on. And I wanted to have all that pulled up, but unfortunately, like I said, I had some things kind of knock me back as I was trying to get everything ready. Let's pull up this. Union County, unfortunately, once again, Union County come to the victim of coming up against a very good school, Fairfield Central. My buddy Brandon used to play there. So he was very happy. Union County 6. It was competitive there at the first quarter. Then, Fairfield kind of took it over from there. Like I say, this is a new regime, new coaches. You got players in new positions. It's going to take time. They will get it figured out. I guarantee it. They are going to be playing York at 7:30 Friday. I'm not sure. That looks like that's at home, so that'll be good. That'll be here at home at 7:30 Friday. So if you're looking for something to do, go out there, support them. Listen, when they're winning, it's easy to support them. When they're losing, nobody wants to. Everybody wants to get mad, want the coaches to be fired and all this. That's when they need the support the most, man. I'm telling you, kids will give up on a sport right now in a heartbeat, especially when they're getting blown out like that. That is a part of learning how to better yourself. Man, there's nothing better than when you're getting beat and pummeled, and you start to get beat a little less, and then one day, boom, you're putting out the pummel, and you know that you put in that work to do it. I mean, look at Notre Dame. 20 years since they have beat an SEC team at their house. That's 2 decades. It's 2 decades. So don't give up. Fight harder. Trust me, you'll get better. These are 2 good teams that they played. It's going to pay off for them in the end. This right here, Patty wanted me to pull this up for her real quick. This right here is some of the things that she'll be doing. And if anybody's looking for anything, looking for hats, her little hat decals there, like I say, she wanted me to pull that up. She had a little video here. So it ain't so loud. She does hats like this. She wanted me to pull it up. They're going to be doing a lot of events coming up. That is Lori Sprouse's cups. So if y'all ever are looking for cups, pull her up, Lori Sprouse. She does a good job. She owes me a Notre Dame cup, and we'll talk about that later on. We'll make that happen. So a lot of good stuff. Again, this is something I wanted to make, show as much as I can, is that we're not going to talk about bad. That may be the way it starts off, but we're going to talk about positives too. This show is going in a new direction. This is the way we're going to be doing it. Unfortunately, there's going to be days where there's going to be more bad than there is good. Today's just a show of one of those mixtures. Next week, if I do the Susan Smith, which I probably will, that's going to be it's going to be an interesting show. It's going to be about bad, but it's going to be an interesting show because it does affect people. Her being let out, that could be a bad thing. History can repeat itself. I'm not saying that she would. She may come out of there being the best citizen you could ever ask for, but you have that ability in you that other people don't. And so let's just we'll leave that there. I'm looking forward to it. Jerry actually sent me some more videos that I might try to implement into that, make it a little bit longer, and I appreciate him doing that. Me and him, we're going to be working on some things as well. Oh man! All right. So here's something that Patty and Jerry are big on, and so I've agreed that if I get 100 shares, 100 likes, I'm going to make a post probably tomorrow. If I get 100 shares and 100 likes, I'm going to do a, God, I don't even want to say it. You know how they have these little boxes? They got wires. It's a little equipment box where it simulates. You can get one or the other. It'll simulate what a woman goes through when they're going through a pregnancy, and they got one where it simulates what they're going through during that time of the month. I've watched some people do it. It looks extremely painful. I mean, so I'm going to be, if I get 100 shares, 100 likes, when I post it, and only if I did that, I'm going to do that live on the show. That's the only way I'm going to do it. Yeah. So man, like my hands are sitting here getting sweaty because I watched some of these guys go, and man, it looks like it's just ripping their insides out. And I don't want to do it, but I think it'll be good to watch, have some fun. That's what we're wanting to do. Today's show there's not a lot of beef into this show today, because I had a lot going on and I was working on the Susan Smith thing. So today's show didn't have a lot of big information. I really want, to have some information come from Joe about the amphitheater, if he will allow that to happen, if he will, get us that information. Let's talk about that. I would love for that to happen. I'm going to be reaching out to a few people in our county for some interviews. I would love to interview the sheriff. I need to. When he took office, it wasn't too long after that when the show kind of stopped. So we haven't really had him on since then. We're going to see if we can schedule that up with him. I would love to do some other things with the sheriff's office, bring some light to that office and what police are going through, especially excuse me, dust, especially today. And I would love to work with them in that office and see what we can come up with. And it's a lot of other things. I'll leave them. I'm gonna hold on to them before I announce them because sometimes they just don't quite go, according to plan. So we're gonna leave that there. But I do appreciate everybody giving me the opportunity to do the show. One thing I do want to mention. I would love, if somebody is interested, I would love to have a co-host here. Jerry does his own show. We had kind of talked a little bit about if he could, come on here, and that may be a conversation that me and him have, and maybe he can from time to time. But I would like to have a full-time co-host of the show. Now, you don't have to be here. You don't have to be here. We can have you, a Zoom here. We can show it. I would love for somebody to kind of allow me to feed off of. That way it's not just me talking the entire time. That's why I'm doing a lot more videos, to break up the monogamy or whatever it is, just the monotone. I really would like to have a co-host to kind of just talk with me on the show, give their opinions, and see where it goes. And we'll see if that happens. I would love it if you know anybody who may be interested. If you're interested, just get in contact with me on the KC Show page. I would definitely love to try it out and see where it goes from there. I was looking over to see if there was anything else being broken about the school shooting. Don't look like there's no more information right now. But guys, I'm going to cut it short tonight, and the reason for it is because I got some things I got to do for school. Not a lot to talk about, so there's no point in just repeating myself and beating dead air. So a lot of things to look forward to again. Well, the events that's going on, Patty, like I say, Uniquely Union, all that's going on. Make sure you go out and support them. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of money, a lot of that to do these things. And, if we want them to continue doing them, we got to support them. So make sure we do that, guys. I appreciate y'all. I hope y'all have a good night. I hope y'all are enjoying it. As you can see, the stream is getting a little better each week, a little better. We're going to continue going on. Hopefully I'll have a little bit more, but more than likely next week will be the documentary about Susan Smith. And I hope y'all enjoy it. I hope you will like it. I guess I can play that real quick, the video. And also it's on the KC Show page. It's on my personal page of the video where I released last night. And let's play that real quick.
Has been arrested and will be charged with 2 counts of murder in connection with the deaths of her children, Michael 3 and Alexander 14 months. Susan Smith.
There you go, guys. That's just a little preview of what it's going to be. I think it was a good editing process of what I had in front of me. I'm sure there's much better out there, but it's a short return to look back on what happened, some interviews, maybe some stuff you didn't see back then. You know, a lot of stuff was recorded and necessarily wasn't produced. So yeah, it was, Kathy. It's still sad to today. And, you know, we just got to make sure that the choices that we're making is the right choices. And we'll see what happens. So, guys, I thank y'all. I appreciate y'all so much. Make sure you share that video about the Susan Smith. I want people, because you know how cool it's going to be as a kid who's heard about Susan Smith, doesn't know really nothing about them. You know, they're not going to really take the time. There's these huge documentaries. This one here right now is about 18 minutes. And probably when I get done adding a little bit, it's probably going to bump up 25 minutes tops. So this is something that kids, even with their attention span, will watch, and you can watch with your kids. It's just going to be videos of her and just going back and letting them kind of relive what you lived through and what I lived through. So, guys, I appreciate y'all. I enjoyed tonight. I hope everybody has a good, the book I mentioned was written by someone who worked for Spartanburg Herald Journal. Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely check that book out that she's talking about. And guys, I hope y'all have a good night. We'll see y'all again next Wednesday. Y'all enjoy yourself. Enjoy this weekend. Enjoy that cool air while it's here. And I cannot wait for more. I loved it.